Welcome to week 6 of the Yoga4Health protocol. The theme this week continues to be spaciousness as it was last week, and I hope that in your home practice you are able to find space in your body, your mind and your breath. And we'll continue this week to use that very spacious breath of inhale, ocean breath, exhale, long ocean breath, and pause. And remember that that is a natural pause at the end of the exhale, and we're not holding the breath or putting the breath under any strain. So this week our focus of spaciousness is going to be on the shoulders. The shoulders is an area of the body that can really hold a lot of tension, and it can reflect a lot what is going on with us mentally and physically. So if you have had quite poor posture, perhaps forced to do a lot of driving or sit at a desk for long periods every day, the shoulders may have migrated forwards, the spine may have curved a little, and the shoulders may have become tight because everything is now no longer stacked and vertical and in a good relationship to gravity. On the other hand, there may be other reasons why you're holding tension in your shoulders. That could be that you are under a lot of stress, or that you have anxiety about one thing or another, or you just might have a lot of responsibility, work pressure, home pressure, and that is beginning to show in this most mobile area of the body, the shoulders. And we can all relate to that feeling of having tightness and tension and stiffness and restriction of movement in the shoulders. Interestingly, the shoulders can both reflect what is going on with us mentally and physically, but it can also play a part in our mental health and the brain chemistry as we are right now. So if we have very tight shoulders and raised shoulders and shoulders that are moving forwards rather than back and down, that can send signals up to the brain that there is this stress response going on in the body, and that can affect us in a negative way. It can affect our mood. So simply the act of becoming conscious of the tension and taking steps to release it can really help to not only improve your physical comfort and posture, but can also help to lift your mood because of this two-way relationship between the body and the mind, which is such a cornerstone of mind-body medicine and of yoga practice. So in every pose during this session, we're going to remind ourselves to focus on the sensations in the shoulders, and in every pose, whenever we get an opportunity, we will be rolling the shoulders back and down. So let's begin now with our breathing practice. So sit comfortably in your chair with the spine upright, and just take a first check in with the shoulders. Just see if you can draw them back a little bit, and maybe slightly tuck in the chin and bring the crown of the head right over the center of the body and lengthening the back of the neck. And this straight away, which is a more neutral head position, can help to begin to feel as if the shoulders are not under this constant strain of having to hold the head in a slightly odd position in relation to the spine. And then have your eyes closed, or if you prefer to keep your eyes open, have them downcast and softly focused on the floor in front of you. And take a moment to tune into your body, the whole of your body, noticing all the sensations, being aware of how you're feeling right now, and just making a little mental resolution to look after anything that you may have going on in your body that needs special care. And remember, you're used to the practice by now, and there are many modifications to each practice, and you can take the one that is right for you today. And then begin to notice your breath. And as you breathe, notice the sensations in your shoulders. And as you breathe in and out through the nose, unless the nose is blocked, begin now also to tune into your ocean breath, creating the soft sighing sound on the inhale and a soft sighing sound on your elongated exhale. And at the end of the exhale, allowing the out-breath to die away to a natural pause. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath. Pause. Inhale. Exhale. Pause. Carry on in your own time for a few more breaths. So blinking open your eyes, we're going to start our practice now with the palms together. And when you're ready, breathing in and drawing the arms apart. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath, and pause. And as you take the arms wide, really notice the sensations in your shoulders. This movement is a lot more comfortable if we can keep the shoulders releasing down away from the ears and feel that the shoulder blades move back as the arms separate. And then release the hands down and breathing in, float the arms up. And long ocean breath, exhale and pause. So another one where we might notice tension in the shoulders as the arms go up. If the shoulders are fully released, we should be able to float our arms up on a cushion of breath and release them down on a cushion of breath without the shoulders feeling as if they are lifting up towards the ears. So try and keep as much softness in the shoulders as you can. We're shrugging the shoulders now, and this is a perfect opportunity just to check in with the amount of tension that you may or may not currently have in the shoulders. And use that long ocean breath as you roll the shoulders back and down to really let them go. Breathing in, taking the right arm up and exhaling ocean breath and pause into the side stretch. So how comfortable is it for you to raise the arm this high? Can you keep the shoulders soft and relaxed even though the arm is coming a long way up into the air? Think of the shoulders as a counterweight to the arm, and as the arm goes up, you really want to feel as if the shoulders sink a little further down the back and release, and that makes this arm raising and lowering and side stretch a really effortless practice. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath. Pause. We're going to do our big elbow rotations now. This is the maximum range of movement that you can get in your shoulders, because we're moving both the joint at the top of the arm, but also the whole shoulder girdle, the collarbone, and the shoulder blades at the back. So if you have any restriction in either of those two structures, you'll really feel it now. So allow the shoulders to be as mushy and soft as possible. When we have tight shoulders, we also often have a tight neck. So you'll just notice as you do this neck stretch whether you can relax and release the shoulders, or whether the muscles that connect to the head and neck from the shoulders, whether those have become short and tight. And use this practice just to give those muscles a little bit of length. And then moving into our twist on the exhale, and noticing the shoulders here. And each time you exhale in the twist, thinking about drawing the shoulders back and just letting them sink down the back a little bit with each long ocean breath, exhale and pause. And when we turn the head into the center of the room, that requires quite a lot of release in the shoulders. And again, the more you can soften the shoulders, the freer the neck will become. And inhale to center with ocean breath, and exhale, long ocean breath, and pause. And working the twist to the other side in exactly the same way. Every long exhale is an opportunity to roll back and release the shoulders, to free the neck, to soften this area of the body which can hold so much tension. And after a little bow forward to release from the twist, we're going to come into our back bend. And as you reach back, this is another movement of the shoulders. Allow the shoulders to draw back, to slide down the back, so that as you come into this back bend, it really feels as if the shoulders are contributing to this opening of the upper chest, of the area of the heart, the breastbone, the sternum. And breathe into this nice open, spacious front of the body. And then exhaling, long ocean breath into a forward bend, and allow your back to release. Allow the shoulders to soften. We're moving now either down to the mat or staying in the chair. Noticing how the shoulders feel if you're lying down now. And then placing the hands on the abdomen and taking a few breaths to use that long exhale and pause to connect to a drawing in of our deep abdominal muscles. The muscles we really need to fire up to support our posture. And then on your next inhale, taking the arms overhead or up into the air, and really focusing this week in this practice on making the shoulders as soft as possible as you move the arms into that inhale position. If the shoulders are tight, it can be uncomfortable. You can feel the shoulders rising up towards the ears. And the more you release them, the more you have a sensation of space in the shoulders and a feeling that the shoulder blades are sinking back towards the floor behind you, or sliding down the back if you are doing this practice in the chair. And then rocking the knees in after that practice. And then we're coming into circling the knees, keeping the knees and thighs together if you're on the mat, and circling the upper body if you're on the chair. Keep noticing the shoulders as you inhale, exhale, pause. If you're doing a stronger version of this without using the arms and using a lot of core muscles, just notice whether you can keep the shoulders released as you do that. So holding the leg now with the hands on the shin, the thigh, or using a strap, and taking it in turns to rotate and move the ankles and the toes of both feet. And then coming into our hip opening pose, drawing the thigh in as we breathe out. And we're using the arms here, so again, our main focus is the shoulders this week. Can you keep those shoulders back and down even when you're using the arms? And that's going to get even more of a challenge when we do some of the weight bearing poses a little bit later. And then switching to the other side, doing the version of this practice that works for you, either in the chair or the variations being shown on the mat. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath as the thigh comes in. Pause. So we're doing a little bit more strengthening for the abdominals. You know what's coming next by now. And if you're lying on the mat, as you engage those tummy muscles, the feeling is that the very tip of the pelvis is lifting off the mat. So you're not rocking the knees in, you're just using the tummy muscles. And we're doing a similar thing in the chair, drawing up on an exhale. And now circle into the hip joint, either both knees at the same time or one hip at a time, exploring your full range of motion in the hip. And maybe just making that connection that the hips and the shoulders have a lot of similarities but also a lot of differences. The hips are much more stable and therefore much less reliant on muscles and other tissues to give them stability, whereas the shoulders are very, very mobile, and that's why they're so prone to becoming tense and tight. So let's test our shoulders further now in the full body stretch, either stretching the arms overhead if you're lying on the mat, or just taking the arms up into the air and stretching up from the hips to the fingertips and the crown of the head if you're working in the chair. Inhale, ocean breath, noticing the shoulders. Exhale, long ocean breath, pause, shoulders back and down. Little by little, bit by bit, we're educating the body to release the shoulders, to get into this habit of being mindful about what we're experiencing in the shoulders and releasing them back and down whenever we need to, and knowing that that is going to help our posture and also lift our mood. And then we come into the held version of this practice, where you can really stretch and you can put quite a lot of muscle tension through the whole of the body and through those shoulders. And sometimes muscles really like to be tensed and worked like this, and then they're programmed by the body to relax and soften after they've done a strong contraction. So we make use of that now as we do a long ocean breath. Exhale, pause, and allow the whole of the body, but in particular the shoulders, to soften and release. So coming into our dynamic moving twist now, coming back to center on ocean breath, inhale, releasing into your twist on the ocean breath, exhale. And taking, if you're lying on the mat, taking a leg position that's right for you, feet on the floor, apart together or even lifted in over the chest. So keeping the shoulders back and down at all times during the twist. And particularly if you're on the mat, you can really feel the back of the shoulders pressing against the floor, and you really don't want them to move as you move in and out of the twist. They are like the fixed foundation point for this twist. Feeling how those contrary movements of the shoulders and the head are really helping to free up the neck, and a free neck will ripple or trickle down to release in the shoulders. The twists are really important for freeing the spine, so that's why we have the dynamic and now the static twist. So moving into a comfortable place and holding the twist. But even though you're not moving, you're still keeping your awareness on the shoulders and subtly using that long exhale and pause to soften and release them. Ocean breath, long exhale, pause, shoulders back and down. And then come back to the center line of the body with a little counter pose after all that twisting. And then we'll move on to our cross crawl. See if we can really isolate the movements of the body to opposite sides of the body, opposite arm to opposite leg, and at the same time really keeping those shoulders soft as we take the arm up into the air or overhead. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath. Pause. And at the end of the next one, rocking the knees in, taking a little counter pose. Now we're going to move into strengthening what are called the hip flexors, the muscle that attaches through the lower back, crosses the pelvis, attaches to the top of the leg. It lifts your leg into the air. It's a muscle you're using all the time when walking or running. And when you sit in the chair a lot, it can get very tight. But it can also be weak. So this lifting and lowering of the legs on one side and then the other just helps us to build some strength into that muscle. And some of the stretches we do a little bit later on in the protocol help to stretch it out, particularly the lunge that we do. And we're doing a little bit of rocking the pelvis now. So there's nothing really going on with the shoulders, but it's surprising how habitual tension can be. So just keep an eye on them, keep them going back and down, even though you're just doing these little pelvic tilts with the breath. You're still keeping those shoulders back and down, soft and released. And then without anything under the back of the head, if you're on the mat, lifting and lowering into our back bend. And here you can really find out how well you've released the shoulders, because as you lift the pelvis, the shoulders and the feet become the foundations for this pose. That's where the weight of the body is going. And you want to feel as if the whole of the back of the shoulder blades has released down to the floor and is bearing that weight in a really nice back and down position. And if you're in a chair, it's the same action. As you come into that back bend, the shoulders are not rising up, they are sinking back and down. Let me just test that a little bit more in the static phase of the back bend. Using now the breath, inhale ocean breath, exhale long ocean breath, and pause to maintain and subtly develop the sense of space in the upper chest. So when you've released, folding forward if you're in the chair, hugging the knees in if you are on the mat. And we'll move on to stretching out the back of the legs. You probably notice your hamstrings getting longer, particularly if you've been practicing every day as we advise. But they always tighten up, a bit like the shoulders are always tightening up again after we've released them. That's just the way it is. It's the way the body works. The hamstrings, we stretch them out, we get a little bit of space in them, and then we sit around all day with them in a shortened position, and they shorten again. So the body intelligently responds to the demands we make on it. So we're still creating the space in the hamstring, we're still using the breath, and as we hold the belt to support the static stretch now in the right leg, we're just making sure that those shoulders are staying back and down. And as you do your long ocean breath exhale to deepen the stretch, feel that you're also deepening that sense of release in the shoulders. And then compare the right leg to the left leg. And then move on to doing exactly the same stretch on the left leg. Inhale, ocean breath, bend the knee. Exhale, long ocean breath. Stretch the leg. Inhale, exhale, pause. One of the reasons we use the yoga belt is that it is in effect giving us long arms. If we were trying to reach the leg or the foot with the arms, it would tend to lift the shoulders off the mat and force them to move up towards the ears a little bit, and they may become tense again. So think of the belt as also a shoulder release support bit of kit. And then releasing from that practice, noticing the sensations in the body, and particularly the sensations in your shoulders. So thread the needle. You'll know by now what position is going to work for you. The options are shown on screen. It can be very subtle, but always keeping an eye on the knee, making sure there's no discomfort in the knee. And although we need to be mindful of everything going on in this pose, we're still keeping our main focus on the shoulders. So if you are going into the full version, reaching to clasp the hands behind the thigh or hold the foot if you're in the chair. Try to do that while keeping the shoulders soft and back and down. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath, and pause. Week 6 is a little bit of a turning point where the subtle aspects of practice, the subtle aspects of a breath-led practice can really come to the fore for you. So we're coming into our cat stretch now, and there are a number of options on the chair or on the mat or on the floor. And now we've got our first weight-bearing pose with weight going into the wrists and into the shoulders. So we're particularly interested in trying to do the cat in a way that is going to keep the shoulders released. So really focus on drawing the shoulders back and down as you come into the back bend shape of the cat. And when the arms are straightening and you're arching the back up, feeling as if the shoulders move freely up and down. So now we are in the lunge that we mentioned earlier to stretch out those muscles we explained were so important for walking earlier. And we use the thigh to support the arms and the upper body, and to remind us to keep the shoulders back and down as we practice. Inhale, exhale, pause. And then moving on to our back strengthening phase. If you're on the mat, you're lying on your front and coming into first the modified Sphinx with the elbows slightly in front of the shoulders, arms a little bit wider than the shoulders. And then if this has become easy for you, you'll be moving into the deeper version of Sphinx in a moment. But whichever version you take, seeing if you can use that exhale. It's a challenge in a back bend to roll the shoulders back and down. Particularly challenging if your upper back is stiff. That's why it's often better to take slightly less back bend and keep the shoulders released than to try to do too much and find that the shoulders are tightening and lifting. And then as we continue our back work with the back lifting practice to strengthen all the muscles of the back of the body, breathing in, coming up, breathing out, long exhale and pause. And again, even though we're focused on strengthening the muscles, we want to strengthen them in a position where the shoulders are back and down. If we work this back strengthening with the shoulders all hunched up, the muscles are going to tighten in that postural position. So really important to keep some softness in the body, softness in the upper back as you come up and release down with the breath. And keep taking the counter pose, and when you're in the counter pose, you can really let the shoulders soften and release into a really relaxed, natural position. Our final strengthener is focusing on lifting the legs to strengthen the glute muscles at the back. And if you're in a chair, you just have to do as much as you can, squeezing and tightening the muscles around the back of the hips on an inhale and releasing them on an exhale. And if you're on the mat, using that long inhale, long exhale and pause to raise and lower the legs while keeping the shoulders soft and released. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, long ocean breath. Pause. So downward dog is a big challenge for the shoulders because they're a highly mobile structure, and now we're putting a lot of weight through the shoulders. It's one reason why we always start the dog with this 4 breath movement. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, coming into the posture. Inhale, in the pose. And exhale, ocean breath, pause to come out. So a lot of muscles will tense around the shoulders to stabilize them as you do this weight bearing, and those are important muscles to keep strong and toned. But if you do have any wrist or shoulder issues, joint issues, it's going to be a lot better for you to reduce the weight and to place the hands on the chair or even on the back of the chair where there's virtually no weight going through the shoulders. And whatever version of the dog, the downward dog you do, we're still always focusing on exhale, shoulders back and down. We spend a little bit of time in the downward dog. You can see how well released the shoulders are, especially when you focus your practice on lengthening the spine, on freeing the shoulders. And don't worry at all about stretching the hamstrings. Keep the knees soft. It's much more important to find the space through the spine and release the shoulders. And find a free-flowing breath in this pose than it is to stretch out the back of the legs. Nevertheless, you can do a little bit of leg stretching and what we call walking the dog, exhaling into alternate heels. And when you've finished working in the dog, then releasing for a moment or two. So we're going to release our wrists and shoulders now from the cat and dog weight bearing we've just been doing. And as usual, you can just pick and mix between these different wrist and shoulder practices shown on the screen. You'll probably have your favorites by now. And as you're doing them, being really aware of what you sense in your shoulders after the work you've just done, and trying to keep that intention of shoulders back and down as you do your long ocean breath. Exhale, pause. Then the big test for the shoulders, can you do this full breath, sweep the arms away from the body and overhead, and exhale, ocean breath, pause, hands down through the middle of the body. Can you do that and keep the shoulders released and soft and back and down? And remember, we use this to awaken the feet and as a little preparation for the standing poses and the balance that's still to come. So we're raising the toes on one inhale, raising the heels on another. And then in a moment we'll be coming into our sun salutations, either in a chair or standing. And we're going to really focus on the shoulders as we do this. So breathing in, open the heart, release the shoulders. Exhale, ocean breath, pause. Inhale, draw the shoulders back, flat back. Exhale, soften forwards, pause. Inhale, open the heart, release the shoulders. Exhale, palms together. Inhale, reach up, keep the shoulders soft, and exhale, side stretch. Inhale to center, exhale, hands to heart. Pause. Inhale, reach up with soft shoulders. Exhale, side stretch. Pause. Inhale, reach to center. Exhale, hands to heart. Pause. So continue for a few more rounds, keeping your focus on your shoulders, noticing the sensations there, allowing this practice to be led by your breath and to be led by the aim of rolling the shoulders back and down in every posture, but in particular on every exhalation. As you continue to practice in this very mindful, breath-led way, and as you cultivate this space in your shoulders, you're probably feeling a lot of space in the whole of the body, a bit like we did last week when we had a more general theme of creating space and spaciousness. So really, really enjoy that. And use the shoulders as a doorway through which you can step through into a more spacious body overall. And as we spoke about last week, as we create space and softness in the body, and as we create space and smoothness and flow in the breath, it has this effect of calming us down and really giving us a sense of headspace, a sense of almost the pauses in the breath are reflected in the pauses in the mind between thoughts. And then we can think a lot more clearly and efficiently. We've done 3 rounds of sun salutations now, and that might be enough for you, so feel free to take some rest here, maybe come back in for one more round when you've had some rest, or just enjoy the stillness. Carry on with your inhale, exhale, pause, and keep releasing your shoulders, whether you're standing or sitting in a chair. So this is our last sun salutation. Exhale, pause. Inhale, flatten the back, release the shoulders. Exhale, soften. Inhale, opening up, shoulders back and down. So we're moving on now to Warrior One. Keeping those feet hip width apart, not too wide front to back. Breathing in to lunge the right knee and open the heart. Exhale, palms together. Feeling that stretch through the back, calf and heel, and through the front of that left thigh. As you breathe in, can you draw the shoulders back and down? Long ocean breath, exhale, pause. And a bit like the lunge, this practice is really effective at stretching out some of the muscles and tissues in the body that can become quite contracted and stagnated through a lot of sitting around. So same practice on the other leg. Bending the left knee as you breathe in, making sure that left knee doesn't go beyond the ankle. So not a big lunge. And keeping those shoulders back and down as you inhale, exhale, pause. We're just taking a moment to take stock of how we feel after that practice. Keeping the shoulders back and down. And then moving into our Warrior Two position where the feet are a little wider apart, and we're paying a lot of attention to just turning out the thigh and the foot on the right leg, just enough to fit in with our own hip opening. And as we saw in earlier weeks, we just check that by making sure that the right knee, when it bends, is absolutely tracking the foot. Center of the kneecap over the second toe is just about right. Really, really important to have that alignment to keep this practice safe. And it is a bit of a challenge when you're working from a video rather than having your expert Yoga4Health teacher in the room with you to point out some of these alignment cues. When the shoulders are tight, extending the arms like this really shows up in the sense that the shoulders tend to rise. It also feels really tiring for the arms. And the more you can soften the shoulders, let the shoulders drop down the back, this extension from the center of the body outwards through the fingertips can become really effortless and graceful. And that's what we're looking for as we move well into the second half of the program. And as we come to the end of Warrior 2, going to finish this long exhale and pause, and then turn the feet in, heel and toe, step the legs together, and again just take a moment to notice how you feel, in particular noticing the shoulders, inviting them to go back and down. So week 6 now, you can do the dynamic heron, still being shown on the right in the chair version, but if you're ready to move on, we're doing tree pose with just a low leg and using the back of the chair or a wall for support. So it's very high foot position. Is only if you have very open hips and are able to get there. It's just a suggestion, you don't have to do it. You can just turn the hip out and keep the heel lifted only, or move the foot up the inside of the lower leg or above the knee joint. So foot never on the knee joint in this one. And it's a real challenge to do tree balance without a chair or a wall. And then moving into our final practice before relaxation, our mild inversion of resting legs on the chair and allowing yourself to have a soft downcast gaze or eyes closed, so you can really begin to integrate what you have experienced in your practice. Really noticing the shoulders and continuing to invite those shoulders to soften and release. So now, unless you're staying in a chair and treating the relaxation as a guided meditation, you can come down to the mat in any comfortable position with the knees bent or the legs straight, and any supports you may need to be comfortable. And then my colleague Leanne Antonia will now
allow yourself just in your own time, just as you're starting to settle, to notice your own breathing. Notice your inhale, your exhale, inhale and exhale. This is your natural breath, so you don't need to use your ocean breath for this particular practice, but feel free to do so if you prefer. Now direct your attention to your right foot. Feel the contours of your right heel. Inhale and infuse your right foot with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right foot and feel the space. Allow your attention to move to your right ankle. Your right ankle. Inhale into the right ankle. Infuse it with breath and energy. Exhale, allowing the breath to flow out of the right ankle. Feel the spaciousness. Move your attention to your right calf. The right calf. Breathe into the right calf. Infuse it with breath and energy. Then exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right calf. Feel the space. Move your attention to your right shin. Your right shin. Inhale, breathing into the right shin. Infuse it with breath and energy. As you exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right shin. Feel the spaciousness. Move your attention up to your right thigh, the right thigh. Inhale, infuse your right thigh with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right thigh. Feel the space. Notice your right buttock. Feel the contour of your right buttock. Inhale, infusing your right buttock with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right buttock. Feel the spaciousness. Softly direct your attention to your left foot. Your left foot. Feel and notice the contours of your left heel. Take an inhale, infuse your left foot with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the left foot. Feel the space. Notice your left ankle. Your left ankle. Inhale into the left ankle. Infuse it with breath, infuse it with energy. Then allow the breath to flow out of the left ankle. Notice the space. Move your attention to your left calf, the calf of the left leg. Inhale, infuse your left calf with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to leave the left calf. Feel the space. Move your awareness to your left shin. Your left shin. Inhale, infuse your left shin with breath and energy. Exhale and allow the breath to flow out of the left shin. Feel the spaciousness. Notice your left thigh. Your left thigh. Inhale, infuse the left thigh with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to leave the left thigh. Feel the space. Notice the spaciousness. Move your attention to your left buttock. Your left buttock. Inhale, infuse the left buttock with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the left buttock. Feel the space. Notice your lower back. Your lower back. Inhale and infuse the lower back with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the lower back. Feel the spaciousness. Become aware of your middle back. Feel the contour of your middle back. Inhale, infusing your middle back with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the middle back. Feel the space. And move your awareness to your upper back. Your upper back. Inhale, infusing the upper back with breath and energy. Exhale, allow that breath to flow out of the upper back. Feel the spaciousness in its place. Now allow your awareness to float to the front of your body, specifically your lower belly. Inhale, infuse the lower belly with breath and energy. Exhale, allow that breath to leave the lower belly. Feel the space. Feel the spaciousness. Now notice your middle belly, the middle part of your belly. Inhale and infuse the middle belly with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the middle belly. Notice the space. Feel the space. Then notice your right chest. Draw your attention to the right side of your chest. Inhale and infuse your right chest with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to leave the right chest. Feel the spaciousness. Notice the space. Softly move your awareness to your left chest, the left side of the chest. Inhale into your left chest. Infuse it with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the left chest. Feel the space. Notice the space. Now softly move your awareness to your right hand. Your right hand. Inhale into the right hand. Infuse it with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to leave the right hand. Feel the space. Notice the space. Notice the right wrist, and notice the contours of the right wrist. Inhale, infusing the right wrist with breath and energy. And then allow that breath to flow out of the right wrist. Feel the space. Notice your right lower arm, your right forearm. Inhale here, infuse the right forearm with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right forearm. Feel the space. Notice the right upper arm, the right upper arm. Inhale, infuse that right arm with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right upper arm. Feel the spaciousness. Notice the right shoulder and feel the curves of the right shoulder. Inhale, infuse the right shoulder with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the right shoulder. Notice the spaciousness. Feel the spaciousness. Move your awareness over to your left hand. Your left hand. Inhale, infuse the left hand with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the left hand. Notice the spaciousness. Then notice the left wrist. Your left wrist. Inhale, infuse the left wrist with breath and energy. Exhale, the breath flows out of the left wrist. Feel the space. Feel the spaciousness. Notice the left forearm. The left forearm. Inhale, infuse the left forearm with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to leave the left forearm. Feel the space. Feel the spaciousness. Move your awareness to your left upper arm. The left upper arm. Inhale, infusing the left upper arm with breath and energy. Exhale, allow the breath to flow out of the left upper arm. Feel the spaciousness. And notice the left shoulder and feel the contours of the left shoulder. Inhale into the left shoulder, infuse it with breath, infuse it with energy. Exhale, allow that breath to leave the left shoulder. Feel the spaciousness. Notice your face, particularly the right side of your face. Inhale and infuse the right side of your face with breath and energy. Exhale, allow that breath to flow out of the right face. Feel the spaciousness. Then softly move your awareness to the left side of your face. Inhale, infuse the left side of your face with breath and energy. Exhale, allow that breath to leave the left side of the face. Feel the spaciousness. Direct your awareness to the very top of your head. The top of the head. Inhale, infuse the top of the head with breath and energy. Exhale, allow that breath to flow out of the top of the head. Feel the spaciousness. Then become aware of the back of your head, the very back of your head. Inhale, infuse the back of the head with breath and energy. Exhale, allow that breath to flow out of the back of the head. Feel the spaciousness. Notice the feeling of space within your whole body. The whole body has space. There is space in the whole body. There is space throughout the body. Direct your attention to the breath. As you breathe in and out, notice the space in the breath. Notice the space between the breaths. Notice the space in the breaths. Notice the space in the breaths. Notice the space between the breaths. Notice the space in the breaths. Notice the space between the breaths.
So now it's time to end our relaxation. Begin to move the fingers, wriggle the toes, and stretch into your body in any way that feels good. And if you're lying on the mat, bending the knees and rolling onto your side. Take a couple of breaths there and then come up to a comfortable seated position on the mat or in a chair with the spine upright, ready for our closing breathing practice. And as you settle into your position for breathing, just take a moment to notice how the shoulders are. As you roll them back and down on a long ocean breath, exhale, can you feel the work that you've done, the focus that you've maintained throughout your practice to really, really zoom in on what was happening, what you sensed in your shoulders, and your ability to release them? And if you can notice this feeling of space and spaciousness in the shoulders right now, it's something you can come back to in your home practice and in your life. Every time you're facing a stressful situation or a challenge in life where you've had to do some heavy manual work and really use the muscles of the arms and shoulders, just remember afterwards to correct that, to draw the shoulders back and down and find that space in your shoulders, because it will help you find space in so many other aspects of the body and the mind. So with your eyes closed or downcast and keeping a soft focus on the shoulders, tune back into your ocean breath. Inhale, long ocean breath. Exhale, pause. Inhale, ocean breath. Exhale, ocean breath. Pause. And continue to breathe at your own rate without strain. And at the end of the next exhale, just let the breathing practice go. Allow your breath to return to its own natural rhythm and take a final check-in with how you feel. Maybe give the shoulders a little shrug and a wriggle. Notice how you're feeling generally in your body and in your mind. So don't forget to home practice. Keep working with the spaciousness, both the space that we did last week generally and now the space in the shoulders specifically. So work that into your home practice for the coming week, and I look forward to seeing you next time for our week 7 practice. Until then, goodbye.